is Fable Action. I am joined to you with my illustrious co-hosts. We have Pele
Hello.
and we have Leon.
Hello.
Welcome back, boys. Welcome back. How you guys? What you guys up to?
I've been sick.
I've been working.
All right. Glad that you guys have been keeping, I guess, busy. Well, Pele, not really so much. You've been trying to fight a cold. I guess that counts as busy.
Yeah, busy fighting a cold.
Busy, yeah.
I my days for the past I think 5 days kind of blurred together. Just dealing with a cold, trying to enjoy myself while fighting the cold, or sleeping, or knocking myself out with like 5 different cold medication to deal with it. But now on day 5, it should be over by now. All that's left is like a annoying cough. That's why my voice is not as it seems today. But yeah.
All right. But as always, we wish you the best. Hope you feel better with the quickest of recoveries.
Mhm.
Yeah, it ain't COVID. We're good.
Fair enough. As long as it's not COVID.
Yeah.
But what have you guys been messing around with? What you guys been playing? What you guys been reading? Things of that nature.
For me, playing hasn't been really much of a thing. I just been kind of sticking to my usual stuff and enjoying a little bit of Master Duel. Um, Getting fucked over by other people because they've been playing longer. There's also that part too. Um, but when you can pop off with your combos and your cards and such, it's fun. It's fun what you can do. Um, Aside from that, my usual Final Fantasy. It had an update. The newest patch came out called the Dark Throne,
Mm.
and essentially with this one, we get to go into the World of Darkness, the 13th world, and we get to fight Golbez, which is a Final Fantasy boss of one of them. I don't remember which one it is.
I think he fought Bart. I can't remember though.
Bart's. Is that 4?
I think yeah, whichever one had Bart's.
Let me see. It's 4. Yeah, that's right. 4.
Okay.
So yeah, so the homage for 4 is there now.
But Gomez is pretty fire.
He is fire. He's a fun fight too. So
Oh, bet. I'm glad that he is then.
I haven't tried out his extreme fight yet to get his mountain weapon, but I'm gonna do that soon once I get the chance to. Um, but aside from that, for watching wise, haven't been doing much of that. Reading wise, I have 3 things for you right now. Be nice and quick. The first one is called Retry, and this one is on Viz. So if you want to check that out, by all means you can.
Okay, it's called Retry.
We post that in chat. There we go. So it is right there.
Okay.
Retry is about this young boy named Okami. Is his last name at least. And he's just minding his own business, just trying to get rations from other kids and such because it's like the last of the rations at the time. And he's not really doing too hot because he keeps losing these fights, but he always stands his ground. His father taught him, if you want to be strong, you need to have a stronger heart. And it doesn't go too well, but he keeps trying, and he prevails in somewhat. However, things don't go too well for him due to the fact that this is actually doing the World War II era.
Okay.
And the bombings have come and did the thing, dropped its presence and such, and so now he has been orphaned essentially, and he now has to try and scavenge for food, try his best to help out his family, but he is then offered a position to essentially do what his father did in the past a bit, which was boxing, and to try and make money like that.
Okay.
And I'm enjoying it so far. Just seeing how it just our main character is going to deal with this, mainly since this is a 14-year-old child fighting against grown men.
I actually like the description for this one. It just says a scrappy young war orphan refuses to stay down, and I'm like, you know what? That's kind of badass.
So yeah, give it a shot. The next one is called Temaku Cinema, and this one, funny enough, is actually from the same creator as Food Wars.
Oh.
So you can possibly see how this is gonna go. Though, luckily, the first chapter's kind of tame on that aspect.
Okay, I was expecting
I
half
usually
hentai in
just-
there. I was expecting half
But,
hentai, honestly.
Nah, well, we probably could. I've only really read the first chapter. I just read it today. But this one is called This one's about Hajime, and he's a movie fanatic essentially. In the past, he used to be really sick, always like bedridden, and he's only ever been able to see the world through movies, and so he's just really excited for almost any movie that comes by, and he just he's a geek about it. It's almost like how Devon's our movie guy. So, and he's just enjoying his life as a high schooler, and then for some reason he loses control of one of his hands. Like his hands just doesn't want to function. It writes this weird message saying, "Give me your arm," on the chalkboard, and he's just trying to use his damn hand without it's just not wanting to function. But then he come across this ghost, apparently, that is a screenwriter, and he wants to produce his regrets and everything. He wants to produce a film that he didn't get to finish, but he has the final script in his head. However, this scene that he wants to do is like not working for him. The fact that he's not able to write it out, he's not able to do what he wants to, is still kind of like messing with him and everything. But then he kind of finds out that this ghost died like 30 years ago.
Oof.
Yeah,
That's a big oof.
So the ghost is kind of down the dumps screenwriter. But then he come across one of the school idols in the manga. I forget her name, but it is Himiki.
Okay.
And she just, it's just a casual day, and the ghost come across as her, and he gets this moment of inspiration. And he takes that boy, drags him home, and writes the fucking script. And tells this girl, "We want you to be the star of the story." And that's how the manga goes. So
Okay. And what was this one called again?
it's called Temachi. No, let me find this. I'll just send you the link. What the fuck is that? There you are. There we go. It is Temaku Cinema.
Yeah. Okay. Temaku Cinema. All right. That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, it most of well, I think it will be fun because it's by Food Wars, by the author of Food Wars, or the creators of Food Wars. Because if you don't know Food Wars, it was a shonen battle cooking series that did pretty well, at least until the end.
I'm gonna be real. Everyone talks about how like the plot, quote unquote, is the takeaway from it, and personally, when I read Food Wars, I really was more into the cooking battles than anything else. Me
Oh,
personally.
yeah.
I was into the cooking battles as well.
Like everybody was
I was really into
Oh
the
yeah,
cooking
like
battles
everyone
as well.
always mentions this as a thing about Food Wars, where it's like, oh yeah, it's like X. He was a hentai artist, right? that's like
Mhm.
writing about food, and it's like
Mhm.
it was like, yeah, no, their clothes
Mhm.
fly off and everything. And I'm like, bro, I'm really just worried about this food. This food looking kind of clean. Like, it made me hungry. I'm kind of concerned about this plot. I'm not worried about the other one.
Mhm.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. There are some people in the world that's like, hey, yo, that fucking clothes flying off thing is it's pretty good or
I
wild.
mean, some people
But if
just
you
read.
had
It
food
was kind of just
that could
funny,
make
but
you do that,
yeah,
that's it's
I mean, there's
good
some
ass
manga and anime that just people just read or watch just for the fan service and nothing else.
it'd be like that.
That is true, but it's also a way of expression because tasting food is kind of like casual thing. You gotta spice it up sometimes, to make it see that hey, food tastes pretty good.
Oh yeah, to the point where your clothes literally fly off and want to get naked.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not wanting to get naked. They just fly off.
Yeah, they just fly off.
There's a difference.
The food forces it to strip.
Well, no, specifically there was this one character, or at least the family involved with it, that if he does it, if he eats something delicious, his shirt comes off, and apparently the energy he irradiates can go to other people around the room to get their clothes to come off.
Oh, isn't
literally.
that like the what's the main girl's name? Like her father?
Yeah,
Uh,
not her father, not her father. Her
Grandfather?
uncle,
it was
Uncle?
her uncle. Yeah.
no, it was her grandfather.
It was
Her grandfather was
Okay,
first,
well,
but he had a son that did the exact same thing. Because it was during the
the son-in-law.
the son,
Son-in-law.
no, because it was a legitimate son. He had the ability to spread to the two other judges who were underage girls, mind you, and they got their clothes stripped off after eating a bare fried steak.
Well, oh, you only got to there. Okay.
No, I got pretty far.
let's not
Well, I
finish
know
that.
more. So there's a
No, I
moment
read the whole series. I'm talking about
Oh,
that
you read the
specific
whole
moment.
series.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the specific moment where this one of his sons, he had the ability to he did the ability where if he tastes delicious, he strips himself off, but he radiates the energy when that happens to other people surrounding him to do the exact same thing.
Yep, and manga's bombastic sometimes.
Yep. Too bad the ending was mediocre.
The ending was really mediocre.
Yeah.
What is it? It was a
I
story
yet to
about
finish that,
coming
and
from the
everyone
ground.
has kind of been really weird about it.
The story was about like people, anything can become good essentially.
Mhm.
And then it became a story about special superpowers and other things, that variety. And it's like, what the fuck? But yeah, check that one out. The next one is actually a web comic, I guess. It is a monster comedy, slice of life, school life, horror, web comic, and supernatural. This one is called Godisen. And paste that boy. The literal description of it is that the type of PE teacher to die first during a panic.
Bro, what?
Yeah. So, and the description of it is also, this is a manga about the kind of PE teacher who dies first in a horror film, and literally, it's kind of what happens. Our teacher here, Gori, he runs into this supernatural thing that looks pretty fucking horrific if you get to the first if you can find the first page. It looks really fucking horrific actually. It's like this weird like doll child, little girl looking thing, and it looks fucking horrifying, and he gets killed. He gets chomped in the head. Then this man just fucking grabs its teeth and rips it open. It's like, hey yo, you got these like fucking piercings on your tongue. What the hell are you doing? It's against the rules. And it's just like, what the fuck? Did he just survive that?
This is gonna be him in a bunch of horror situations, isn't it?
Yes, and he survives it, and he grills the entities that kill him.
Just roast.
Yeah, he just roasts them.
Fair enough. That actually sounds bad funny. I'm looking at the first one and I'm like, yeah, no, he just died.
Yeah,
like, nah.
he just fucking died. You saw the blood, everything, but he's just like, what the hell do you think you're doing? You have piercings on your tongue. And you would think, the fact that you died would be the biggest thing, but no, he's just concerned about the child. It's like this is not school rules.
No, that's school
Bro.
appropriate.
Do better. Do better.
Be better. But that's pretty much it from me.
The whole
I'm gonna
title
pass
is
it over.
really just the type of PE teacher. Like, yeah, I thought it was just like the description. No, it is the whole title.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough. Type of PE teacher to get to die first.
Yeah.
No panic. Normally, we hate these, but
Normally we do, yes.
this is a weird enough one that it kind of works.
Yeah, it's really weird about that.
Like, everything about this sentence doesn't tell me enough. It's just weird. It's like, wait a minute, what?
But it fits how it's being portrayed too.
Yeah, honestly.
Because I think there was a chapter where there's this weird desk creature that was just kind of harassing or going around doing different things, and this fucking teacher fucking punts that thing, and is just like, get to your seat. It's like, oh, okay.
This is why he would die first, but he's an immortal. He does not care.
He does not give a shit.
He
No.
could be Goku.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I will pass it off to Amani.
All right. For me, well, I mean, let's just get into it. Basically, look, Street Fighter 6 came out, right?
How is it?
It's fire. Like, as everyone
many-
said, it's a 10 out of 10. Honestly, I'm eating good this week. That's just how I feel about this.
I have a question, Amani. How fucked up is your character?
It's not.
Damn.
Okay.
I don't
Send a
give fuck
picture.
about characters.
Well, my question would have been actually, how many fucked up characters have you encountered?
None so far. I've been playing.
I
mainly
don't. I don't know if you can like play custom characters online fighting.
No, you can.
You can. Okay.
You can do it in the Battle Hub. I've been playing mainly on the single player mode, World Tour, because I knew I was going to be putting time into World Tour. It's literally a fighting game RPG. So I was like, well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be playing that for a minute. But I haven't learned enough. So, like, all I got is a Kigosho. Well, no, I don't have a Kigosho. I have a Kigoken. I have a Kigoken. I don't know why I forgot
So you-
what Kigoken was. I have a Kigoken,
So you picked
and I have some of
Chun-Li
Luke's
as your
moves.
teacher?
See, I can't. You gotta learn from all of them. You gotta find them and learn from all of them. So far, I found
okay.
Chun-Li because the game literally tells you where Chun-Li is, and then you get Luke's
Mhm.
moves by default. Well, some of Luke's moves. I still don't have Sand Blaster,
Mm-hmm.
so we're using Kigoken. I want Kigosho. I want it. Kigosho. For those that don't know, Kigosho is actually one of my favorite Street Fighter moves for no reason at all. I actually just love how that move is. The idea of you just making an orb of energy that just hurts niggas is kind of cool to me. And it's just a big blast. Like, as a super, it always looked really cool. So Kigosho is one of my favorite, like, just straight up one of my favorite moves in Street Fighter. And kind of a lot of fighting games in general. It doesn't beat everything, but it's up there. Buster Wolf is also up there. Terry
Are you
Bogard
okay?
knew what was up when he did that. That thing has style. Obviously, a Hadoken is forever, right?
Yes.
And then you have things
Raging
like
Demon.
Raging Demon's up there. Raging Demon's up there. But Raging Demon isn't as useful to me as other moves, so I don't actually find it that interesting. I think it's a really cool move to get hit by. Vice versa, or to
When
hit
it's
someone with,
executed right, yeah.
right?
I remember it very clear when that moment happened.
Oh yeah, no, I had to learn it just to do it to you. You had to know.
No. When I
Oh yeah, you dodged.
magically did it against, I think was it Devon, and he jumped over me.
Yeah.
That was a shit moment right there.
He was like, "Well, we'll try again next time, I guess." There's a couple of really cool fighting game moves that I'm like, now that I think about it, like, I can't wait to get, especially in Street Fighter alone.
Mhm.
There's one super in this game that I think is really, well, actually I don't like the way it ends, but it's really dope, and it's Dhalsim Super, and I have no use for it because the character I'm trying to build just wouldn't do any of the things that Dhalsim does. Like,
Mhm.
Dhalsim's move is like straight out of One Piece kind of shit, and I'm like, it's sick looking. If you guys haven't seen it, you should look it up. It's really cool. and I have no use for it. Feel bad. It's a feels bad. Dawson used to be my main in Street Fighter 2. He was like, I was actually pretty good at playing Dawson in Street Fighter 2. It was really weird.
Same.
But as far as Street Fighter 6 goes,
right. Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
sick. Pretty
Stretchy
sick so
yoga
far.
fire monk dude.
World Tour has no right being as good as it is. Like, it could be sold as its own game with how good it is. And the fact that they're like, yeah, no, this is just the casual thing. I hope Capcom just takes this and goes like, all right, World Tour is just how we do our story modes moving forward. If 2K could do it, they could do it too.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. It'll work perfectly. I think this is the right choice. For Street
So,
Fighter, at
my
least.
que-
I don't want Mortal Kombat to do this, honestly. I mean, they could probably get away with it, but I really don't need it to be. I kind of like the cinematic stories for Mortal Kombat, I'm gonna be honest.
No, I understand that. Though they honestly have a good premise of, isekai, if they wanted to.
That's just the whole series. The whole series is,
It is.
oh, yo, we just ended up in another world. On both ends. We're just fighting other
Yeah.
worlds.
Yeah.
Let's just hop over to this dimension, fight people. It's just factions based
so
on the
we
fact that you could just hop in between what is it called?
Middle Earth.
Middle Earth? Is it Middle Earth? Middle Earth
No,
is-
no.
no, it's not Middle Earth.
Earth
Middle
Realm.
Earth is Earth Realm.
Earth Realm.
Earth Realm. Okay.
Can we talk about how stupid the names are in fucking?
It's a Nether Realm, Outer World, Earth Realm, and that's it. Oh, and Turnia. That's the original
that's true.
Katanas. Yeah, that's about it.
Earth Realm is just a stupid
Outworld.
name.
It's dumb names, but yeah, it was made in the early days.
Look, I'm gonna get a lot of flack here. Get a lot of flack. I can't stand Mortal Kombat. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Why?
I don't like Mortal Kombat. I've never liked Mortal Kombat. I like the
understandable.
world that they actually that's not even true. I like the story they put out because it's kind of fun. I don't like the world of Mortal Kombat very much. It's kind of boring to me. But like I've never gotten it, and I don't even want to get into the fact that those games are stiff as shit. Those games are not fun to play.
Yeah, they are pretty stiff.
They are not fun to play. Now, obviously, Hero Paper Play Action, that is my opinion, and some of my friends will crucify me for that. Let's talk to Devon. We talked to Devon. I think Aaron might crucify me for it too, but I'm pretty sure Devon would definitely do it. He who shall not be named would also do it.
True.
But
I can agree with your statement.
I grew up on Street Fighter, and I played other like Japanese-made fighting games, and then fighting games that were inspired by those Japanese-made fighting games. And so when I played Mortal Kombat, I'm like, this feels like shit. It just doesn't feel good. They got me to buy a Mortal Kombat because they put Spawn in it, and I'm like, damn, I love this character. It sucks to play as him in this game, and it has nothing to do with how Spawn is. It just sucks.
How his movements is.
It's everything involving that game. Now, granted, it's Mortal Kombat 11, and not everybody has the biggest enjoyment of Mortal Kombat 11, but I also think that Mortal Kombat 11 is probably one of the better feeling Mortal Kombat games. Which is not a good thing, because that game is also very stiff.
It's just the feel of Mortal Kombat in general, and
the feel of Mortal
and
Kombat is really good.
and without extension, Injustice.
Yeah. I played Injustice. I played Injustice 1. I got good with Catwoman. I still don't like how that game feels. I got good with Catwoman and Batgirl, and they were they were the fastest, smoothest characters I can possibly play in that game, and I still didn't like how they felt. And I got good with them. I wasn't playing around. I genuinely mean it as like a thing of like, I put times, not even like from an outside perspective. I put time into trying to get used to these games. I can't. And I will probably at some point, not buy, but play the next Mortal Kombat game. Because if they do have Homelander and or I'm kind of hoping
Omni-Man.
or Omni-Man, I kind of want to be able to touch them. Personally,
I want to play as
think
Peacemaker so bad.
both-
Peacemaker would be fun.
Yeah, Peacemaker would be fun, but it's also kind of weird to have him as the representative of
DC.
DC. It's kind of weird, right? Like I can't be the only one that thinks
Yeah.
that. Also, for those that don't know, it technically got leaked that these are the 3 people that are supposed to be in the DLC leak list. Is it
Not the
DLC
full.
or is it?
It's the
Phase
guest
one?
character. It's because there's
They're the
more.
guest characters. Yeah.
They're gonna add more to it down the line as well, because you know how many it becomes successful like Mortal Kombat 11. Yeah, there's probably gonna like 3 more character packs down the line as well.
Now, so far, I do kind of believe that 2 Superman analogs is kind of unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure who I'd prefer, but I think I'd want Omni Man. I think I'd rather. Actually, no. I don't know.
Homelander would be a lot more brutal.
Homelander.
Just like-
I would
you know
disagree.
what? No,
I
yeah,
disagree.
no.
I disagree. Omni-Man I think would be more brutal.
Omni Man would be
Well,
more brutal, but I think I would prefer Homelander because I'd much rather smash his face in.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, Omni Man's dope. He's Black Air Force energy, bro. Like,
Absolute.
he's like, but like, also, I expect to go forward and learn more about him in the later season of Invincible, and obviously, I've seen a bit of the comics, so I know a decent amount about him and where he's going. So it's like, I don't feel as like. I don't want to smash Omni-Man's face in. I just don't. Like, I'd want to play as Omni-Man, but I think that, like, Homelander is a better opportunity for it to be, like, brutal and have some crazy stuff going on.
I mean, that's what I did for Mortal Kombat 11. I pretty much did all the fatality copies on Joker.
Yeah, but, like, I'd much rather smash Homelander's face in than Omni-Man's, because he's just that kind of dude. He's trash. Like,
He's a villain you're made to hate. I love it.
I hate him, and it's like, it's not that you can't hate Omni-Man. Omni-Man does some heinous shit, but I don't despise Omni-Man. I actually respect the. I don't know how to describe it. I respect the ruthlessness of Omni-Man more than anything else. I don't know how to describe it.
He's efficient. He doesn't torture. He just straight up kills.
Yeah, he's talking bad junk, and it's like he's not even. You know what it is? He talks junk from not an air of arrogance, but
superiority.
Yeah,
of genuine superiority.
Of genuine superiority. Like Homelander is like, he's talking down to you, and it's like, somebody here can beat your ass. Like, I'm sure someone here, if any of these characters just decide to jump you, they can do it. But like with Omni-Man, it's like, no one can touch him. Like, he just comes from a race of people who have just been enslaving people that they have just been more powerful than genuinely the entire time. Like, there's just like, they show even in his speech where he's like, yo, look at what they have to do just to mimic a fraction of our power. I'm like, yeah, you know what? If I was looking at a race of people who were like half as slow as me and have to use machinery just to get even close to what I can do, it's like, damn, bro, I don't know what to tell you. Like y'all, you're not even close. You're not even on my level. You're not even close to my level. It's like, I wouldn't have his. I don't think I would think the way he does. But like, I get where he's coming from. Where it's like, what am I supposed to do with y'all? You're so far behind. I'm like, it's like, you got a point. He's like, man, it's just dust and humans left and right. Like, they just, like, nothing. Like, they are nothing. He actually treats them like ants because they are ants to him.
Yeah, really.
Whereas Homelander, it's like, you're watching this, like, man-child throw hissy fits and things like that because he doesn't get his way sometimes. And you're like, all right, like, I guess you could do that, I guess. Like, one of the most powerful beings on the planet, but, like, he's a bully. That's the deal. Like, that's the difference. It's that, like, Homelander is, like, this stuck-up bully who, if people stop being afraid of him, they could take him. He's not used to fighting people on his own, like, at all. He's so used to just crushing anybody he comes against that if another superhuman genuinely wanted to fight him, they could take him. Which is why everyone, I think all of us agree that in this argument of who beats who, Homelander, Omni-Man, or Superman, or whatever Superman allegory you want to put in, right? Homelander loses every time because he's the only one who never fought anybody on his level. Like, just never did. And if you've seen the newest season of
Death Battle,
no, not Death Battle. That just The Boys. I don't know why I forgot the name of the show. He was like, but if you've seen the newest season of The Boys, without giving too much away, we kind of get to see what happens when someone on his level starts to throw hands with him, and he's like, "Huh, I'm getting my ass kicked. I am losing." He's like, I'm a little afraid." And he's like, "Yeah."
This isn't right. Hold on, wait a second.
He's like, "That man is afraid." And I'm like, "Yeah." Whereas like, you could see with obviously, Omni-Man goes out there and he fights people on his level. There are people stronger than Omni-Man. He's aware of it. Like he's he's like he's very much aware. He's like, "Nah, man. Like this ain't nothing." Like I'm pretty strong. I'm up there, but then there's guys like him. There's guys like Battle Beast. He's like,
I can't wait to see him fight Alan.
I do kind of want to see him fight Alan.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
Alan's built different.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, Alan and Battle Beast are built different, but then there's General Krang. He's built different. But we aren't gonna talk about it too much. But there's Invincible built different. There's Omni-Man built different. There's Battle Beast. Actually, Omni-Man and Battle Beast are kind of like on the same kind of built different. But then there's him. There's Krang. That's a different kind of built different.
That is a big difference.
Right, there's a difference. But besides that, because Street Fighter's been, because I guess we got to come back around to Street Fighter because I started ranting about Mortal Kombat and then obviously the stuff that we got. But Street Fighter's fire. Honestly, one of the better Street Fighter games. I've had a really good time with it.
Mm-hmm.
I love all the mechanics that's going on with it. I would give a full breakdown, but I don't want to really bore people with the details of how to play the game. I think that the drive system is a really good way of doing things.
Neat. Okay.
I don't expect to see it in the next game because that's just not how that works, but they should definitely take some of the stuff from it. I need to see a Third Strike character. Actually, I need to see multiple Third Strike characters be put into this game before this game ends. Obviously, we're in the beginning, right? So it's going to be a while. I think my main problem for now is that I don't really have a main. Or I should say, I don't have a main, but my main is locked behind. Both of my mains are locked behind DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know Rashid is coming, and I know Ed is coming, and I want to learn them. But that being said, I have not given a shot to trying. I did like how Kimberly played. I don't want to say I'm going to be a Chun-Li main in this game, but damn, I was having some fun when I played the beta as Chun-Li, and I haven't got messing around with her moves in the story so far. I've been like, Chun-Li kind of crazy. Chun-Li gonna be possibly kind of top tier in this game. Again, because that's the deal. Chun-Li, depending on the Street Fighter, she's either like mid or high tier. She's always in that area.
Oh wow, really?
Chun-Li tends to like be goated in most Street Fighter games. Like she's up there usually.
It's them thighs.
She puts in
Damn
work.
thighs.
Like it just depends on how they modify her moves. Because some of the stuff, sometimes she's a combo beast, and then sometimes she's lacking the tools necessary to really compete with certain people. And it's always back and forth. But when she's good, she's good. Like she's top 3 usually when she's made like well. And this is one of those games that I'm like, she's made well. It's kind of crazy because like I said, I don't have a main, but a lot of the characters in this game are just fun to play. Like Juri's really fun to play. I messed around with her in this one, and I'm like, oh, they gave her some of her stuff back. I'm so glad that they gave her some of her stuff back. She's actually really fun to play in this game. They still have the stock system, but it's not nearly as like I guess intrusive as with 5, because she gets her stocks, but you can use the stocks for anything. Like you don't have to pick a specific button to stock up, like you had to do before.
Oh, okay.
It's just do the move, get a stock. Do it 3 times, you get 3 stocks, and then you could use it for whatever you feel like using it for. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. She doesn't have her little teleport cross-up thing anymore, which is fine, technically speaking, because she got some stuff. I liked getting to know Kimberly a little bit better. She was fun to mess around with. I have yet to touch the big buff woman that is Marissa. I need to, because she has the potential to be a main, and I haven't touched her yet. She reminds me of Big Bang. I'm trying to play Big
Very
Bang
much
characters.
so, yes. Her ult is actually really fucking cool.
Speaking of which, that is another one of my other favorite fighting game moves. Is I think it's B Train, A Train. I think it's A Train. It's the grab variant. So like he has the big knuckle, but you know this one, Leon. But like Big Ben has the giant knuckle that he punches people with, and then he has the other variant that is a command grab that he hits you with, and then just crushes you multiple times with the tuba part of his arm, and then throws you out. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty satisfying to land. That's pretty good. Viking is also another one that has one of my favorite ones. She has a command grab that in Exert, yeah, in the Exert games, she has a command grab that's really, really fun to land. So much fun that it made me kind of a Viking main, only for them to not have it in Strive, and it made me kind of sad because my baby came back, and then they just didn't give her the move, and I'm like, oh,
big sadness.
Yes. It's like the main reason I play her. Besides, like she's a cool looking character, but it's like one of the like it's just so satisfying to land that move, and the fact that like it's not here. I'm like, why? It's all I ever wanted to do. It's like 3 moves I want to do with
How could you do this to me?
My game, like literally, my game plan with Viking existed around using like that move and like 2 other ones usually, and that's a weird thing to say, but it's just satisfying to use those things in that game. I was like, okay. It's like, is it strange that you want to just use 3 moves? Like, nah, man, I'm just trying to have fun. I'm trying to press buttons, trying to do cool
if
shit.
You're not trying to, like, try hard, just do that. Like, yeah, just chilling.
I love fighting games. I'm a casual fighting game player. Like, I play them. I don't practice, but I do get good. If that makes any sense. Like, It's very rare that I go to the training room to see what works and what doesn't work. But usually, when I go to the training room, it's just to figure out. I'll usually go through the trials and stuff like that just to see if you could do certain things. Just as like, it's never like, oh, I'm gonna practice a long, drawn out combo to like end my people. It's like, oh, I didn't know you can cancel this into this. Well, that's super useful to know, and I just use the bits and pieces from there to have fun in the game, right? Like just learning that like you could just do certain things out of certain things. So I'll look at the trials for instant and go, like, oh, you could do that into that. Well, that's nice to know. Like, I'll be sure to use that, right? Like it's just I never use like the whole like thing, which I'm sure tons of people probably say the exact same thing. It's like, yeah, you use bits and pieces and you come up with what makes your stuff unique. It's like it's not that the way I do it is very different, but like you know how some people lab and like come up with these long like actual crazy combos and strategies to do with them. I don't do it like all of that. Right? But I just like playing the game.
You just go with the flow.
I go
Whatever
with the flow.
happens.
I get good from just fighting people. That's how I actually get decent at the game is just trying to adapt. And if I can't figure somebody out, I'll just ask what is missing. Like what am I not getting about this matchup, or what am I not getting about this? And they'll be like, oh yeah,
you get like a whole Zenkai boost. Just just fight, get down, get back up. All right, let's go again.
No, yeah, it's fun to just do that. Like it is. The only thing is that I have to fight people close to my level so that I can gradually grow. Because if I'm fighting people that are like too far above me, I don't learn anything from it. It's just like I got trounced and I wasn't able to do anything. It's just that simple. Like it's just like
I can't see what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, it's literally like I just don't understand the flow right now. It's like I know you got stuff, but like I don't know how to combat that stuff. So it's like it's gonna be a minute before I can do any of that.
What the fuck was that move? Hold on, wait a minute.
He's like, I've never seen them do that. It was like, that's next thing. I'm like watching, like we'll just say like I'm playing like against Kimberly, and it's like they do something with like her like her little canister. Something I also want to mess around with too, because like some characters don't have certain moves in certain modes. She's one of the ones that I'm like, I only tried her out in modern. I want to play her in classic because she has stuff in classic that I'm like, I want to do that, like her little gas canister, like her spray cans. I love those little bomb things that she has, and those are one of those tools that, like, in fighting games, I look at certain tools that characters have and go like, I like that tool. I want to use that tool. Like, I just like how it is. I like how it'll like work, and I want to use those tools certain more. That gas canister thing that she has limited amounts, but it's like she can load them. I want to use that, and like, I messed around with her in the beta, and I couldn't find where that was in modern controls. I was like, where is her gas canisters? Because I don't know why I keep calling them gas canisters. They're spray cans. They're literally spray cans. I was like, where are those? Because it's like the number one thing that I saw from her and was like, that sounds like fun to mess around with. Like, I don't want to do stuff with those. And it was like, and I couldn't find it, so I gotta go back and mess around with her in Classic. Also, probably a move that the moment I find her in the story in World Tour, if I can get that specifically, I will use it. I want those cans. I want them.
Let me graffiti your ass very quickly.
It's like, I'm throwing them down. You are catching a bomb today. But besides that, just to get off of like the fighting game antics and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm gonna say this. Like I said, I've been eating good, but we're gonna get into another discussion with this one in a bit. But we watched Spider-Verse. Cross the Spider-Verse is crazy. I'm gonna talk about Cassette Beast first, because Cassette Beast is crazy. So Cassette Beast is a Pokemon-like game which has 2v2. Well, you have teams of two, and you. The best way I can describe this game is that it is Pokemon, but it's like Pokemon if someone looked at all the crazy stuff that happens in Pokemon and said, hey, I can do that better. So, 15 different typings, all of them having unique interactions with each other. So, for instance, fire type, right? You have a fire type, you have a plastic type. Plastic is a type.
Okay, odd.
Fire attacks plastic. Plastic turns into poison type because it got attacked by fire. Poison type is flammable. You just turned that Pokemon, like, well, it's not a Pokemon, they're a beast. You just turned that beast into a poison. You changed its typing by attacking it, and now it's more weak to you because now it does less damage. In fact, its attacks buff you because you're fire, and you can hurt it more. Completely unique interaction.
Interesting. Okay.
And they're all things kind of like that. For instance, if you're, because we're gonna be using the fire type one again, if you're Wind and you attack a fire type, you put them out. Their attack goes down because of it. And I believe if they attack you, I think you also get a buff from it because of how Wind works. I gotta check it again. But basically, all of them are unique interactions with each other. Just weird little things that kind of mix and match how you mess with different people. Some people are just weak to other things. Like I said, poison and fire's reaction is just straight up. Poison is just weak. Poison is straight up weak to fire. It's like, so you get all of these crazy little things. But on top of that, dual typing doesn't work the same way. Mm-hmm. So what you can do in this game is you can fuse. So you take two of your beasts, be like,
Fuse.
Pop them together, get a unique sprite for them, for all their fusions. They get the dual typing, and now their moves do both. The moves just do both. They get all the moves from both of the fused beasts, and now they do both types of damage.
Do they do the fusion dance or Patara?
Kind of, sort of.
Okay.
Also, your Pokeballs are tapes, and the aesthetic is really cool. They have like this musical element to it that's really fun because
okay.
Like one of the details is that like in the open world and everything like that, you have a more ambiance muted soundtrack. When you go indoors, the lyrics kick in. And then when you fuse, because it's hype, the lyrics kick in. He's like, it's stuff like that. Like it's fun little things like that. You get to make your like own little character sprite that's there. The world of it seems really interesting so far. Actually, I'm kind of surprised with how much detail they went into making Cassette Beast. If you can get your hands on Cassette Beast, I highly recommend giving it a shot. If you're a fan of Pokemon and RPGs in general, you should probably play Cassette Beast. Also, I also really like the aesthetic of 2D on 3D that Cassette Beast has, which is you have the 2D sprites, but you're sitting on like a 3D plane, It move like the map
Mhm.
is 3D, but like it's textured in the same in sprites. It's really cool. Um, but go check out Cassette Beast, please, because I'm not even scratching the surface of everything you could do in that game. I'm just kind of giving an overall quick description of it. Is it? But you can have fun with that. Like for instance, the move typings that I was telling you about. Um, all so you know how TPs work, Leon.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know you're for most familiar I could think of with Pokemon. Um, I know Pele has played some games, but it's been a minute, right, Pele? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I gave up after Black and White.
So the way TPs work in this game is that they're all stickers, and all moves on every character is a sticker. You could take off every single move on every single Pokemon and just put it on another Pokemon. I don't know why I'm calling them Pokemon Beast.
Oh wow.
You can just do it.
Doesn't matter what move it is, they can fucking learn it.
And shinies work completely differently in this game. So shinies are less rare. Less rare. Yeah, they're less rare than shinies in other games. Well, in Pokemon. But the deal with them is that shinies are completely different typings of beasts. So the average beast might like so. Let's say we'll take traffic crab, right? Because I know traffic crab off the top of my head. Traffic crab is a plastic type. A shiny variant of a traffic crab is might be. I mean, like you have one for every single typing, but a shiny variant would be like a wind one. And you're like, oh shit, I found a wind traffic crab. That's crazy. Or a fire one. Or it'd be really unfortunate to get a poison traffic crab. You know exactly what's going to kill it, but you can get it. He's like, and then on top of that, if you're like, you know what, I think, like, let's say you had a traffic, like a normal plastic one, you've been playing with that plastic one for like a long time, and you're just like, and you're looking at your new shiny wind traffic crab, and you're like, bump it. I'm gonna just take all the moves off of that traffic crab and put it on the wind traffic crab and just call it a day. You can just do that. You can be like, all right, I'm gonna take this one and this one and this one and just slap it on there. I'm like, okay, that's pretty fire. Like it's one of those things you can just do. So, and like I said, I'm not even scratching the surface. I was showing it to several of our other friends that play, like Javi and Aaron. They were really excited about messing around with cassette piece. So,
If Aaron was definitely excited.
Yeah, cassette piece is really cool. Javi was looking at it actually and was getting inspired by some of the stuff that they did in it, and was like, I could probably add. Weirdly enough, I can add some of the things that they have in this to the D&D that we were playing because he was prototyping it when we first played it. So, he'd be like, I could be able to use that. And I even got him to get interested. He doesn't even like turn-based combat. He loves Pokemon. He hates turn-based combat, and the only reason why he likes Pokemon is because it's Pokemon. So the fact that I was able to kind of make him do the same thing with Cassette Beast should kind of speak to you on how cool Cassette Beast is. The other thing I messed around with was we started watching Kissenibers. So I started showing Hio, Shinapi Named, and Aaron that show. I am rewatching it. For those that do not know what Kissenibers is, it is a show in which I believe it's 7 teenagers of various types. They are quote unquote the new 7 deadly sins of the modern era, which is they have the loudmouth jock, the moron, the immoral, um, the goody two shoes. They said it's the goody two shoes, but it's self righteous. Self righteous. I can't remember what the last word is, but it's just someone that's self righteous, right? I guess we can just say self righteous goody two shoes, but it's not
uppity.
The exact thing. There's the uppity one. There's the cunning normal. That one's a weird one, but I guess it's just like the person that's like perceived as normal but is always up to something. The eccentric, and the last one is just I can't remember what her sin is exactly, but she's kind of just a bitch. He's like, that's not even to be like, she's just a bitch towards people in a lot of instances. And like that's kind of like it. Like it's there's more to her character. Like there's more nuance. Like all of these characters have more nuance than just what they are, quote unquote, what they are represented by. But like, um, they're all given this essentially this scar that allows them all to feel each other's pain. Um, and then told, you know, you guys are gonna live with that for like the rest of the summer. Enjoy. And so it's a matter. It's a kind of a cool teenage like drama. It's wholesome, but it's a drama nonetheless. Of these seven teenagers doing their best to live while being able to feel each other, uh, whenever they get hurt or something like that happens, right?
So
So
is it any emotion that they can feel, or
it evolves. Is the best way I can
it
describe it. It evolves,
Okay.
but when the concept is given to you, it is just straight up. It's pain. The initial one is like they all share pain, and one of the first things they do to test this out, well, not these kids, but the first thing that's done to test this out is they shove our main character down some stairs, and he pretty much wakes up later on, and they're like, yeah, so normally he would have died from that, but because his pain is split amongst like five people, or seven people, he lived because their pain is split amongst it, right? So everyone felt that and was like, "Ow, that hurts," but it's like, "Hey, you lived." So now, technically speaking, they're all durable enough. They're as durable as seven humans. They're as durable
Wow.
as seven
Okay.
human beings. It's like anything that would just destroy seven human beings, it would probably end them all. But it is a cool concept, and as it continues, it's fun. Just watch how drama grows. Obviously, because of how it is, it's also a Trigger Studio anime, so it's gonna look good. um, but as it is, they're teenagers in high school, so obviously we're gonna have drama. People are gonna be crushing on each other and things of that nature, and we're gonna see how that plays out because it's fun to watch stuff like that. But yeah, so it's a cool time. Now I can get to Across the Spider Verse, which I have seen and Pele have seen, and we
I'm
will
planning
not.
to see.
Yeah, you will see. We will not be talking about spoilers for obvious reasons yet. Probably be at the end of the show. Maybe we'll just do a separate little thing that's just a spoiler cast, one or the other. But we will be talking about that movie. Now, the spoiler-free review of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That movie is fire. It's phenomenal. It did better than the first movie. It did it better. Also, let me just point this out, because I need to point this out. I've been looking at a bunch of reviews and stuff like that also, just because once I see a movie, I'm like, yay, now I can watch other people's opinions, because I've seen it myself. Something that has to be mentioned, and Leon, this might be a minor spoiler, but it's fine. A lot of people seem to have forgotten that this is a two-parter. Like a lot of people have seemed to forget. Like other people have put it into their scores and stuff like that. That like the ending is a bit unsatisfying, right? A lot of people have forgotten that this is a two-part film. There is when
It's
it
a
was
two-part
announced.
film?
Yeah, when it was announced, it was called Across the Spider-Verse Part One. The very first trailer, you can go look it up. Very first trailer that came out, it's Across the Spider-Verse Part One. And then eventually they removed the Part One and then made the next movie Beyond the Spider-Verse. Like that was the name that was given to the next one. But originally it was supposed to be Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 and then Part 2. Because they have done that, and because it's been so long since that very first trailer, people have forgotten that it is a two-part film. And thus it has reflected in its score a little bit accordingly. But that is the fair warning to everyone going into this film that maybe might have forgotten that that was a thing. This is part one of a two-part movie. Just so that you don't get to the ending and go like, what? like, just lose your shit and walk out a little disappointed, because I feel like it takes away from a film if you walk out of it being like, I wasn't expecting the cliffhanger, right? And I don't want to take away that shock value, because that is fun and there's a value to that. But I also want to be fair to the film, because it's not like it never told you this. It's just that everyone forgot, or at least a decent amount of people just forgot that it was a thing. It's like, it's one thing if like it came out and it just turned out to be a two-parter. You know what I mean? And we're like, oh, that's crazy. But for them to have come out and originally announced it as part 1 and part 2, I don't think it's fair to get it docked for being what it told you it was going to be in the beginning. That being said, the art in this is crazy. The art in this alone goes crazy. Bailey can attest to this. There are some scenes that are ridiculous in quality for animation. Like, bonkers. Backgrounds do crazy stuff. The art direction and just swapping between characters is crazy. There's a universe where there's several characters and universes where they just basically pull a JoJo. Where it's just like every cut is a different color palette for the people on screen. Which goes hard. I'm not even gonna front. There are certain characters that are just straight up like, they are a different animation style, and they will be changing as often as they need to or feel like they need to, because they're just gonna look different. Spider-Punk is one of those ones where it's just like, yeah, no, he's just gonna look different. Also, Spider-Punk is goated.
Lee Brown is dope. Can't understand half of what he says, but he's cool.
He is British, so prepare for that.
Heavy Cockney. Heavy Cockney.
Heavy Cockney. I love him in that film. He's one of my favorites, honestly.
I will say this, like, it's definitely one of those movies I want to see multiple times, but also own it on DVD, because I'm gonna freeze frame the entire Spider Society scene and just pick out like that design. So many Easter eggs just gonna pick out. Yeah,
there's so many Easter eggs in that film, bro.
Because there's the scene where they bring in one of the other Spider people, and it's like 5 just pop out and there's all named from different universes. Like, I didn't get a chance to read them all. Fuck.
I did not get a chance. Y'all have something. But yeah, no, that movie is phenomenal. Genuinely, if the first one had charted new grounds when it comes to animation, Puss in Boots did the same thing. Like, it hit some stuff. This then outdid Puss in Boots. Right?
Oh, and a lot of like really nice touch Easter eggs, especially one that Amani kept under wraps for me, and I was like laughing my ass off, like, yo!
Yeah, I do my best to keep those. But I've already seen the movie twice. I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to see it another time. I don't know when, but I feel like in the back of my head, I think I'm going to see it again.
Paul wants to see it. We can watch it with him later, hopefully this week. He's intending on doing it Tuesday, because I want to see it on IMAX, because, what's your opinion on the second viewing of it? Because we saw it in the roller coaster seats.
Okay. Second viewing of it, I still think that movie is pretty amazing. There's a ton... best way I can describe this without spoiling anything.
Just talk about the quality
and a ton of stuff in the beginning of that film that does a great job at hinting at stuff later in that film. Like, there's a lot of coming full circle. There's a lot of interconnectivity with the first film. There's a lot of interconnect. Like, this is the kind of the way this is set up, especially this movie in particular. Watching all 3 of these movies together is going to be wild, because it's just going to feel like one giant story, which admittedly I didn't think we were going to get going into this second one. I figured that, yeah, like, it was going to be like, you have the first Spider-Verse movie, then you have the adventures of the second one, and, you know, obviously the third one, which is directly connected. But, like, watching all 3, it's going to feel like, legitimately going to feel like this was just one long story. Legit. And I'm looking forward to that, because that is the level of interconnectivity that exists in this movie. I can't wait to just actually get the chance to do that. I'm gonna have to wait till next year, but like the ability to do it is what I can't wait to do. Which granted, I think the best thing I can say is that the movie doesn't even feel as long as it is. Like it's a long movie. I believe it's the longest animated film ever.
Let me check that.
I think it broke a record with that. This one is the longest animated film ever, I believe.
Let's see.
Really?
Longest animated films of all time ranked by length. Let's go to number one. And number one is...
I remember people talking about.
It's not. It's the longest animated film ever was Space Battleship Yamato in 1983. That's 2 hours and 43 minutes long.
43 minutes.
Yeah.
How long is Spider-Verse?
2 hours and 16 minutes.
Okay, because I remember there
It's
a bunch of
close.
people were talking about how it's long. Is it 3D animated?
Well, 3D animated's different, and that's not much of a high bar to pass. Because 3D animation.
I mean, I know, but like I remember people talking about it being like a thing. Like people were like, "Yeah, it's long."
It's the longest possibly 3D animated, but not the longest animated film of all time.
Okay, so it's the longest 3D animated, more than likely.
Mhm.
'Cause I remember that being a thing that people were like, "Oh yeah, it's really crazy." I'm like,
Okay, so in terms of ranking, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse only ranks number 20 of longest animated films.
okay,
Mm.
that's fine.
Few Gundam movies are longer than that. Very well.
Gundam.
Tomorrow's Joe.
Of course,
Evangelion
Gundam.
3.0 is longer than that.
Yeah,
God.
no,
Okay.
3.0 is pretty
Yeah.
long. I'll give it that. That does go for a minute.
The longest animated film of all time is from Canada, Distracted Blueberry. That's 4 hours and 33 minutes long. Holy shit.
Wow. Okay.
What the fuck? Why is that so long?
I don't know. I really-
I don't know.
4 hours for an animated cartoon? That's so much work. Holy fuck.
I mean, that's a lot of passion, I guess. Or they fucked up and added things that they didn't need to.
I'm really curious on why I was hearing about that. I remember people were talking about it breaking a record on being.
It's
like,
like I said before, it might be the one for 3D.
I'm
But again, but that's not like a huge bar to pass because it's still relatively new.
yeah. So for now,
That
it's
is true.
pretty well. Yeah.
It's the longest animated film ever produced by an American studio.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
See, now that makes sense.
That makes
That
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
America's not about that animation as much.
No, which is sad because fuck the Grammys, honestly.
but honestly, I think my biggest takeaway is that it is a compelling story through and through. Like No Way Home upon rewatching and like re-examining that film, No Way Home has problems because it is
It relies too much on
It
previous
relies
knowledge
way
of the
too
previous
much on
Spider-Man
film.
films.
yeah, it relies way too much on knowledge of previous Spider-Man films, way too much on like nostalgia. It's
Mhm.
very much a fan service film, which is fine. Actually, it's
Yeah.
a fan service movie. I don't like to say that. Like, there's a difference.
Yeah.
I find that there's a difference. This is a film, much like the first one is a film.
It stands on its two legs. The only thing you probably need to know is probably watch the previous Spider-Man film, which is
'cause
only
it's
one film.
It's a direct sequel to that.
It's a direct, yeah.
So-
And there's references to the previous like Spider-Man media stuff, but like they're Easter eggs, nothing more.
Yeah. So like you can easily watch it and never watched anything besides the first one. Which, to be fair, if you're watching the second one and you haven't watched the first one, I kind of feel like you already were kind of messing up anyway.
I mean, you say that, but we have people that we know that have done that with other franchises, just jumping in the middle of it or the end of it and
Or
expecting to know
attempting
everything.
Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, no, that's not how that works. You have to.
And I do know I'm referring to who should not be named specifically.
Where
Yeah.
is he this time?
Well, he did that with Kingdom Hearts, and I thought like that's the stupidest idea ever.
Right.
Actually, he didn't do it with Kingdom Hearts. He was going to
Right.
do it with Kingdom Hearts, and we all told him to stop. What are you doing? Like, you have
Like
so
this is the
much you
third
have to play
entry
through.
over a almost 20-year franchise that you're not gonna know jack shit about.
He's like, this is literally the ending.
There's way too much for
on
you
Kingdom Hearts.
To not just not know
And not,
to get
not
into this.
just that.
But
There
granted,
is
there's a
just
ton of
way
people that
too
did that
much
with The Witcher,
twisted
though.
information in there too. Shit.
Mhm.
All right, but there's a ton of people that did that with The Witcher as well.
Yeah,
Which,
I
like,
mean,
The
to be
Witcher-
fair,
Witcher
the
3 was
first
the
two
first
games
one I
were
played, but I
kind
didn't
of rough,
finish it.
so people just jumped into this one, and people still liked it. The
Yeah.
first two one wasn't that necessary to play, and the third game was great. That's the idea. Um, and people just watch the show because they played the third game, and that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, I watched the show. I watched the show knowing that like they were talking about stuff from before. I attempted to play the game, but I just couldn't.
Mhm.
It's a
I
big
think
RPG.
it's not
Yeah.
even that. Like I've told you guys a couple times before, where it's just like attempting to go through that beginning section with genuinely. I think I got to the first playable series section, and by the time I got there, I was like, bro, I have no clue what the hell is going on in this game. I should have never touched it. That's how I felt, because it's just like there was the first. I didn't. What gave me a sour taste is like the first part thing you do in that game is make decisions based on the world that, granted, you're not going back to, but they ask you about them, and I'm like, I don't know what any of these events are. I don't know what any of these. It's really weird for me to be like, yeah, no, I did this and this and this, and I'm like, I don't know what any of that means. I don't know what any of the ramifications of these means. Like, if they have ramifications, like none of it. It's just like I don't know. And it's like, this is what you did. Like, it's literally a questionnaire of like, what did you do in the previous game? And I'm like, I didn't play the previous games. I have no clue what I did back then.
Is this a trick question? What the fuck are you talking about?
It's like, I have no clue. What is the right answer on any of these? And
Oh.
coming from, someone
sorry.
that played the Telltale games and stuff like that, and Mass Effect, like these are, and Dragon Age, like these are games that I played. I'm like, I'm not trying to make decisions on games I didn't play. Going in, I have no clue how this is gonna play. And it's like, apparently those choices don't matter as much in the third game, but like, I don't know that. I don't know that. You know what I mean? Like so. But like we said,
imagine.
Spider-Verse is really a weird thing to be like.
Just
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Amani, I was going to mention this one. So, it's not a spoiler. Just a call out for any Easter. Okay, go ahead.
Because Leon was trying to get something out.
yeah, I was just going to say, just imagine there was a game where you have to play the previous games, and if you don't, the game just kind of just gives you the worst ending possible, like apocalyptic everything.
Bro,
Until
you say
buy
that.
those games,
You
don't
say
get
that.
the good ending.
You say that. Mass Effect 3 literally does that.
Oh, really? Okay.
It is very clear. I think, especially if you have the trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you have the trilogy's out, because they got rid of some of the multiplayer elements and stuff like that, because you don't have it. You have to. I mean, obviously, if you own the trilogy, you should probably go through all three of the games. But like, if you started at Mass Effect 3, it is damn next to impossible for you to acquire the good ending. Actually, it's impossible. In the old game, it's literally impossible for you to acquire the best ending if you haven't played the other ones. Like, it's actually impossible for you to get it. The synthesis ending requires that you have done certain things in the previous games in order to even get it in the first place. For it to even be an option for you, you had to have done it. Yeah, you have to, because the franchise is built for you to play through the whole thing. So it's like the best possible ending. You have to have done certain things in the previous games for it to even be an option for you. Otherwise, you just choose red or blue, or technically like white, if you realize that was even an option. And then, the game would play out its ramifications from there. But in order to get the green ending, you have to have played through the previous games and done specific things in those games in order for it to even work.
So how the fuck would they even get that information, just from the data from your storage?
Oh yeah, because the idea
is save data. It's save data
for each game. So
yeah, the only reason why The Witcher doesn't work for The Witcher is because the first two Witcher games only exist on a 360, and you can't exactly carry that over for The Witcher 3.
Yeah. So it's just unfortunate for those who were playing The Witcher. It's weird because even The Witcher 3 was kind of presented as for some reason it was presented to people as what a perfect time to jump onto The Witcher, and he's like, you mean the third game in the franchise that has characters showing up for the previous games that have no clue what I did with, and they show up with
now,
history.
To be fair, BioWare goes above and beyond for stuff like that, so I don't expect CD Projekt Red to do the similar aspect along with it, mainly because that's a lot of story and choice details from the previous games you have to carry over multi generations. Because remember, Dragon Age is also the issue. Had that same problem too, where the first two games only exist on the PS3 and Xbox 360 era,
And they found a
while
way to do it.
Inquisition
One
moved on to the next
Inquisition was-
generation.
Yeah, but I will say this, because that's the thing. Inquisition found a way to do it, but with The Witcher, it's even weirder because characters remember and have a certain, like Trish and Yennefer, each have their own backstory according with, and like when they show up in the game, they have history with it. And they don't pretend like that history didn't exist, not inherently.
Mhm.
Yennefer even more so, because it's like, that's your love interest from the first game. He's like, you don't remember, and neither does Geralt, but like, that's the problem. And so you're like, oh. And Trish remembers, but I actually don't remember if Geralt remembers. And that's
Probably
still a
not. He
problem.
drank himself like he completely forgotten about it.
Probably.
Which they're doing their best in writing it to be like, yeah, Geralt doesn't really remember, so it allows you to figure out too, but not really, because like that's part of what makes it interesting is that when you get to those parts with like Yennefer and Trish, you're like, oh right, yeah, that was a thing. Just shit, like that happens. Well, it's it's weird, but I guess to come back around because we got off topic again. Spider-Verse is phenomenal, guys. Go watch it, please. Go watch it. Actually, I don't even have to beg you. Apparently, it's doing so good so far. It's doing really good so far. It blew out the Super Mario movie already within its first couple days, and within the first day, it's already made more than the first 3 days of release for the first film. So I was like, geez, that is it's popping off. It's popping off out here. So this movie is obviously people are gonna have to see it, and I recommend that you guys go watch it because it's fire. But that would be it for me. So what about you, Pele?
Oh, like I mentioned, I went to see Across the Spider-Verse and the Roller Coaster Seats. Thinking about watching it again later this week, hopefully with better sound quality, because that was my biggest gripe at the film. And when we watched it, it was a bit like it sounded a bit soft during the audio because I can barely hear the music. Do you have the same issue? I thought because I was sick, my ears were going out for a bit.
I didn't have that issue, but by the time I seen it the second time, well, I'll say this: the first time was definitely I was more engrossed in the film than the second time because unfortunately we had a crying baby in the audience.
Yeah, we had a crying baby and it's roller coaster seats. So you brought a crying baby to a roller coaster seats cinema. Like
I don't
That's
really
not
know
smart.
why they thought that was a good idea. Granted,
That's not a
I'll
good
mention
idea.
this: the couple had 2 babies, right? One
One
of
was
the babies, an
was
actual
fine.
angel until like the very end, and she started to cry a little bit. That was it. But like she had been there for like the whole movie, just quiet. I was like, damn, that's a good baby, right? The other one could not
kept making
stop.
noises. Yeah,
Could not.
it wouldn't
Could not stop.
could not stay quiet. It
And
could
there was
not
a
stay.
part of me that was genuinely like, I don't know why. Like I noticed them too when we started to start the film. I'm like, why did you like? Not only did you bring your babies to the movie theaters, but you brought babies to a roller coaster seat movie theater. Like, I feel like I was like, that's gonna bother. I felt like it was gonna bother them. One of them got rocked to sleep, I guess. Was chilling. The other one, though, on the other hand, was not feeling it.
Wildly.
We definitely had people in our audience that was kind of upset with the fact.
Yeah, it's like they were starting to get mad.
And admittedly, I was not a fan either because I really did look and was like, people talk about this all the time. Why would you be that couple? You know what I mean? Like, why would you be?
It's
that
11
those
a.m. on a
people?
Saturday. It's 11 a.m. on a Saturday. You couldn't get somebody to watch their baby.
He was like,
Right.
why would you be those people? He was like, knowing that no one really likes. And it's not that you, and that's not me saying that you don't deserve to go watch a movie if you're a parent. You're allowed to go watch a movie. Watch Spider-Man with your wife or fiance or whatever the relationship is, baby mama, whatever. Do that, but like maybe leave the kids at home. They're babies. Leave them with somebody.
Now, I'll say this: for the parents who actively just bring their kids to films and let their kids do whatever the fuck they want at the cinemas, fuck you, because you're not being respectful at all to anybody in a cinema. You don't know how to take care of your kids.
Yeah.
Now I'll say this: the baby, like obviously you cannot control a baby completely. It's gonna cry. It's gonna do its thing. But that's why.
No, but if
the
you're
idea
actively
is,
bringing
like,
a baby and not even trying to do anything to stop them during a film while it's playing, you're just a terrible parent.
because like I'll admit that the parents were trying to get the one of them to just settle down and be a little bit more
Mhm.
quiet, but ultimately I was just like, man, you would have just done better and avoided all of this had you just left them with someone, like because
Mhm.
not for nothing, it's just it's a theater, it's a movie, right? Most people would like to be quiet during a movie. What are babies not good at doing? Be
Staying
quiet,
quiet.
and
Mhm.
they're just not good at that because
Especially in roller
they
coaster
need what they
seats where
need.
it rocks and
Shaking
shakes about
everywhere.
like crazy everywhere.
Yeah,
It's not gonna exactly be easy for them to stay quiet.
Oh no,
they
no,
need what
not
they
at
need,
all.
right? So it's just like it's like I said, it's not even a matter of like you shouldn't be able to like enjoy yourself or bring a baby to the movie. Like, well, nah, it's not that you shouldn't be able to enjoy yourself and go to the movies and stuff like that. It's not that. It's just that if you plan on doing it, just find a sitter. Like
Mhm.
plan accordingly so that you know you can make sure that everyone around you, including yourself, has a better time. Because I'm sure that couple left the movie theater quite like embarrassed, and I felt bad for them. Like I genuinely felt bad for them.
But it was their own doing.
It was their
Yeah.
own doing. That's kind of the weird part about it. It's like I felt bad because certain people were definitely like telling them what's up, and I don't condone the way they were told, but I feel bad, and so I feel bad for the way that they were spoken to about this problem.
Mhm.
But I also kind of am like, you really did do it to yourself because you decided to bring a baby to the movies. I don't know why you thought that was a good idea. And
Do we need
they
to
were
put
young.
that? No,
They
no.
were young babies. Like I mean, they were genuinely babies, but like it's like, you know, but it's
Daisy babies.
unfortunate. Yeah, babies be babies. I think at some point I think the mom just left with it. I also will admit this because I gotta say this. I think I noticed this last minute too. Um,
Hmm.
so when we came out the movies, we started talking because Pele, you weren't there for this, but we had got back in the car and we had the windows down because it was hot and we were getting ready to leave. We were talking about the situation with the baby, and I think out of the corner of my eye, I think I saw like two cars away was the parents, which means that like I think they overheard our conversation about bringing a baby to the theater.
Oh
Oh
no.
shit.
Oh no.
They weren't evil eyeing us or anything like that, but I was like I caught it at the corner. I was like, I don't know. That looks like it could be them. And it was like, and I was like, you know what? To be fair, at this current moment, we are saying that we literally were talking about we were talking this exact thing right now where we were like, don't condone how
Mhm.
they were told. Probably shouldn't have bought a baby though. He's like, everybody knows not to be those people. And so it's like, I was definitely like getting ready to pull out. I was like, I think they heard that. And to be fair, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it
It's
is.
called theater etiquette. You
But
gotta
I
learn
did
it.
feel, I was like, like I saw it at the corner. I was like,
They tell this here in the beginning of every film. Turn off your cell phones. Make sure not to have a
oh, dude,
conversation during the little
if you gotta
film.
turn off your phone in the middle of like if you have to turn off your phone when going into the movie theater, they tell you, they put a thing up. What makes you
Yeah.
think you could have a baby? You can't turn off a baby. Can't put the
Imagine if you
baby on
could.
silent.
Yes, mute button.
Hit the mute button on the baby. That's not a thing. It's like if your cell phone could be enough of a disturbance, why did you not think the baby was
Bring a
not?
baby. Consider bringing a baby.
It's like always keep that in mind, people. Your baby does not have a mute button, and you know it doesn't. You
And
know
if
it
you're
doesn't.
once again, if you're one of the parents who don't give a shit about anybody else's time during a film, and you let your child be reckless and loud the entire fucking time, go fuck yourself.
Now I will admit, the babies weren't even. They were pretty bad. Well, one
Hmm.
baby was pretty bad. There was also like some kids that were in there that were kind of like, I don't want to say loud, but they obviously had. No, they were loud. They weren't
Oh,
obnoxious. There's a difference.
yeah,
They were
they
loud.
weren't
They weren't
obnoxious.
obnoxious.
I'm talking about the. I'm again. I've had this a few times on my own where I went to see a movie and the parents just did not bother shutting up their kids at all, or just let them run around the
But yeah,
entire
so you
theater.
did
Like
hear it too,
just
where there was this like
yeah,
they would get really loud, and the parent would be like, "Shh, shh,
yeah.
like, calm down." But I was like, damn, this kid is this kid is really going for it. There's a gunshot that happens in this movie that like one of the kids just literally like screams to. I'm like, hey, I don't know what to tell you, kid. That was the most telegraphed gunshot I've ever seen.
Yep.
I was like, I don't know how it scared you. I don't know. But the roller coaster scenes were fun. I'll say that much. They were kind of fun. Little. I definitely. How did you feel about it? Because I felt for the first time seeing that movie, it's. I couldn't imagine seeing that for the first time, like the film, and the first time in those seats.
I guess it just depends on the type of person, but I like films like this because I think it just enhances the experience a lot more. For instance, like being immersed in the swinging of the entire action, I feel like I'm just more immersed into the film that way.
Fair enough, because I do like some of the angles that he did with it, but there's some stuff, certain times and certain action scenes where it's just a little too rocky, admittedly. And I talked about in the beginning where they were just going with accordance to like every single beat of a song. And I was like,
yeah,
bro, I do not.
Well, it got really rocky, I want to say, when they were starting to go literally up. I'm just going to say that as a reference, just when they're going up, and I think you know what I mean, Amani.
Yeah.
And that got really heavy.
And I was just like, all right. He's like, some of them you were definitely looking at me like, I don't think I needed to get hit with this. I'm like, but it does do its best to enhance it. I actually think that like if they took the time to like adjust it a little bit better, I think roller coaster seats would be better with a slightly more subtle touch to a lot of its approaches.
It depends on the film because the first time I encountered those roller coaster seats was when I was back in Tennessee, and I went to see Dune in that one, and that was a great experience. But again, I think it's because of my taste for it, right? Because it enhances the film for me, and I enjoy it that way. It may not be for everybody. I don't think it was great when we watched it with Doctor Strange because it didn't fit well for the film, I would say, though it was intense at the time. See, I also saw it with No Way Home, and that was cool, especially with the website and everything like that.
Yeah, see that.
But it really just depends on the person, and I think that is just it. But I did enjoy it, even though it did give me a headache. But I was, I am sick, so
that's fair. But what else did you do?
Nothing much else. I caught up on a few of the games. Owen finally played through and beat through the Callisto Protocol. I don't like that game.
The final verdict on that is just no.
No. So I like the atmosphere. It looks great. There's a potential and good foundation for it. Just the overall package just makes me aggravated. There's a specific level section. So you know how those survival horror aspects where you're kind of stuck on a moving train and you have to fight zombies that come through on each sides and every single time.
Mm-hmm.
That happens in this one. It's aggravating me more since you don't have much. Since the game's not focused on shooting, it's mainly focused on melee and having them come at you and constantly mutating. They become stronger, immediately mutate as they come to you, and they're already the stronger variants for like fuck me. And it's like 3 at a time. Like, I can't do this with 3 fuckers at a time because the game's not built for it.
Yeah.
And it's like, people are saying it's a skill issue. It's just not fun. It is just not fun after a certain point.
That's fair. It is kind of like, yeah, I'll admit.
Mm-hmm. It just becomes
really good discussion about horror games because of it, or survival horror games, and what would be like good mechanics and stuff like that because of it. But yeah, no, it is not a shining beacon of any of those.
Beyond that, though, I like what they could set up in the next one. It's very cliched at how it ends because like it just set us for the next aspect, and it's like a reference to the first Dead Space, especially how at the end of the first Dead Space, the game ends and then scream in your face by a zombified love interest, similar to this one as well. And if they made enough money, here's a sequel. I should kind of hoping they do a sequel, just tighten up the problems or fix the issues fundamentally, and hopefully the next one will be better. Yeah.
Judging by the box office and everything that's going on right now, they're going to have more than enough money. So,
yeah.
The Callisto Protocol, I don't think so.
I guess it's just judging. I'm not totally sure.
Well, video game sales we can't exactly know because they like to keep that tight-lipped. I'm talking about video games, not box office for films.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we can see how. I'm pretty sure we can try to see if they have any sales numbers on it.
Probably
Some of them do, some of them don't. Some of
Probably
them
not,
are extremely
actually.
tight-lipped.
Mm-hmm.
Callisto Protocol. But anything else for that in the meantime? Around 2 million is what it said.
They needed to sell. They're expecting to sell by 5 million this year.
Yep.
No,
They
I
expected to
can see it.
sell 5 million copies, but they pretty much got around 2 million.
Yeah, so it's considered a flop.
Yeah.
So there may not be a sequel.
Wait, how much did Dead Space sell? Like original.
Dead Space, the remake.
The original, because that's kind of
the original.
the better thing to compare it to. Dead Space.
Oh wow! Even the remake did not meet sales expectations.
Oh no.
Oh, that's fucking
To
great.
be fair, Dead Space actually only sold over 1 million copies worldwide.
Yeah, but that was like back in 2008, where it actually was it mattered enough at the time. But you know how bigger companies are now expecting bigger sale numbers in order to get the prosperity for it to go through. And with Dead Space remake, only sold 2 million copies. We're expecting 6. Like, oh, it's considered a flop. Like,
It is considered a flop, but I actually kind of want to point this out. It's like, yo, the original barely sold,
over a
it
million.
made 1 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And then let me see. I want to see how much 2 did.
Remember, it's only considered a flop by the publishers, not by criticals.
Oh, I know, but it's like, yeah, no, this is a perfect example. So Dead Space 1 sold 1 million, Dead Space 2 sold nearly 2 million, and Dead Space 3 is, I mean, obviously Dead Space 2 is the one that's considered the best one. And Dead Space 3 didn't even touch 1 million.
No.
Oh no.
It sold 600,000. 500, yeah, 600,000, basically.
Damn.
And if that's the case, I don't know why the fuck you put a number like 6 million. This is not like 6 million is more than the entire franchise itself has sold.
They want a franchise starter numbers. That's what they want. That's the idea.
Yeah, but that's not how this franchise starter numbers are low. Like that's even for this franchise, it's a horror game. Like those don't sell inherently well. Like I think 6 million units.
Again, money. We're thinking logically. Publishers don't.
Because it's fair, but it's just one of those things where you look like they're publishers and stuff like that, right? So the idea is you would think you would do sales numbers based on what like is projected for the game as it's already done. What would make it a flop? Like I feel like what would make this a flop is if it sold less than the original one, or at least sold less than the top selling one, right? So the top selling one is Dead Space 2. If it sold less than Dead Space 2, then you might be like, it's kind of a flop. You didn't even do as good as Dead Space 2.
You would think, but Amani, they're comparing these sales numbers to Call of Duty. They're comparing it to GTA. They're comparing it to anything that's already
stupid. Because these are
I know it's stupid, but it's also EA. You have to remember that.
Like that's like actually dumb. Like I don't understand who's sitting there in a meeting going like, it's gotta sell this number, and I'm like, you mean the number that it never has sold throughout its entire lifespan as a franchise?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, Logic has never been involved with this, man.
I would for sure be like, yo, this doesn't even make sense as a projection. It just doesn't. Because they did the same thing with Capcom did the same thing with Devil May Cry originally. Yeah, it was like, yeah, no, it had to sell this exuberant number, and I'm like, you mean the number that the fan base alone wouldn't be able to cover? Just can't. At our peak, we couldn't cover this number, and you want us to just do that now? Sure, I guess. Why not? And we can go for it, I guess. Yeah, no, the idea that it only sold, that the last game sold 60, actually not 60, 600,000. And remake sold, you said?
Less than about 2 million, which is below the expected number of 6 million.
It sold 2 million copies. At the end of the day, it sold more than the last game, and I think it sold more.
Yeah, EA stated that Dead Space remake is very, 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 very good. I'm really bummed that this isn't successful for EA. It's so and
it actually, technically speaking, it met its peak. like if we're being completely honest, every and this is like a fair estimate, so to speak, but this isn't exact, right?
Hmm.
But
Mhm.
this is what I'm kind of going for. Basically, every person that bought Dead Space, like Dead Space 2, right? Because
Hmm.
that's the franchise at its peak. So basically, every person that like the franchise has ever had at its peak bought Dead Space again, and then some, because Dead Space 2 didn't make 2 million. It
Dead
got to
Space Two
close to it.
sold no. Dead Space Two sold 4 million.
No, it says here. It says shipped nearly 2 million units. And that
The original Dead Space sold 2 million copies. Dead Space Two sold 4 million
okay, I
copies,
see it
according
here.
to this. Yeah. Hmm.
Dead Space
Um,
2 cost 60 million to
$60
make. It
million
sold
to make.
4 million, sold 4 million copies. I guess that's his lifespan. Well, that's not good then. Never mind.
Yeah.
That means it's still a failure, technically speaking. Ultimately,
That's, I mean,
by those
yeah, I
standards.
get that, but the push for having bigger numbers because the amount of money the publishers put into making the game, especially just publishing it, and
Oh,
multimedia
okay.
franchise it,
My bad.
the
Those are
marketing,
completely
these are
reasons.
you have to consider this because the same goes for movie marketing. The budget for the film or project is one thing. You need to double that for the marketing alone.
True. It's just kind of sad a little bit. I'll say that much. But hopefully they'll. I mean, the hope would be that they would make Dead Space 2 remake, right? Because that's the one everybody wants to see.
Yeah,
Because
well, I
the
mean,
first
it's
one is good,
successful enough,
right?
but
But
EA's fickle with that shit because money talks, not really critical reviews talks.
fair enough. But so be it, I guess. Anything else, Billy?
Let's see. No, nothing too much. I'm currently working through Steel Rising on that. It's pretty fairly easy. Souls like robot mechanic just makes me want to play more. Makes me more anticipated for getting Lies of P. Honestly,
Yeah, that is coming soon.
yeah,
It is.
I can't wait for that one. But beyond that, just know more of the vision, and that's about it. And me being sick, of course.
All right. Well, let's get into a little bit of the news. One of the things I wanted to mention on here, if I can find the Duggar real quick for me. Oh yeah, okay. So I think it's a fun one to just mention. So apparently we're getting a crossover with Stranger Things, because Stranger Things loves to crossover with random stuff.
Yeah.
It's a crossover with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's
We're
weird.
getting a comic that is coming out that is a crossover of Teenage TMNT and Stranger
Spoiler
Things.
dynamic between Eleven and Raphael. Okay.
It is all right. Like it's just like okay, I guess. Like I'm not really. I obviously they probably mistaken the turtles for something from the Upside Down. And to be fair, I think the turtles would excel in the Upside Down, unlike everyone else that has ever been to the Upside Down in that show.
I
The
mean, to be
turtles are the
fair,
most capable.
of all the things the turtles have seen over the years, the Upside
They
Down
could
is
do
probably the least of their
it.
concern.
They'll
Yeah,
be
I'm not
fine.
worried about I'm not worried about the turtles at all.
See, even if you were worried about the kids, turtles got them because it's
Yeah,
the turtles.
the fucking Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
They got it. um, but that's a really cool one. It's weird more than anything else, but I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's weird that I'm actually really looking forward to it. Like I'm
It's
kind of
still
like,
not the
I'm gonna check it
weirdest
out.
thing though. That's the
Seven Deadly
No,
Sins
it's
is
not the
still up
weirdest
there.
thing.
Seven
Yeah.
Deadly Sins is the weirdest one.
Still don't understand why they thought that was an amazing.
I don't fucking know, and never came back. It's never came back for another collaboration.
But I will say this: speaking of Ninja Turtles, we got a new trailer
Trailer for
for
the
Mutants and
Ninja
Ninja
Turtles
Turtles.
movie, Mutant Mayhem.
It looks good. Also, I really like Ice Cube as Baxter Stockman because it's Superfly, and I like it. It's a good tone. It still looks great. It's doing crazy stuff with animations. I don't know where this is gonna stand because Spider Verse came out and just set this like obviously set a new bar, but this still looks amazing. Like I don't want to take away from that. Like this movie looks awesome. I'm a fan of making the turtles like feel younger. You know what I mean? I like it. I kind of can't wait to see how they decide to play around with everything because it looks fun. We got to see Splinter. Jackie Chan is Splinter in this one. That's fun.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
That's why I was like, yes, this is the right choice. I think a lot of the dialogue is pretty snappy. I like how he gets on Michelangelo about using rat. He's like, you ratted us out. And he's like, hey, don't use that word that way. I'm like, that's cute. Yeah, man. Always looking forward to a new Ninja Turtles thing, especially something with this much style. Especially something with this much style. Any other ones you guys want to mention?
Let's see.
Amnesia's back.
Yeah, it's World War One.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
You get a gun.
Mm-hmm. This
Bleach
one,
going back too. Alright.
I mean, it's part two. They took a break. This is the second part of that.
It's still
series.
Bleach, the 1,000-year blood war. It looks
Oh,
fucking fantastic.
Speaking of Bleach, apparently they did a recent one-shot special where Ichigo's kid got sent to hell.
Oh no.
And
When?
yeah. Earlier last year, late last year apparently, on it. It's a Halloween thing. I think he was doing. It was like, oh, they're doing more crossover stuff because I would like to see if they're adding more connections to Burn the Witch because that's the other in universe Bleach manga that the Taite Kubo it was doing at the time.
I don't think so.
Is that even continuing? I didn't know if Burn the Witch was actually. I know it was supposed to be coming out, right? Like as a full
I
series.
know.
No, Burn the Witch exists. It's currently still going, as far as I
Okay.
understand.
That's what I wanted
But
to know.
in terms of connections, at least from the one shot, they're not connected at all. If that makes sense. Like they're in the same universe, he states, but no direct connections to each other because like the witches are not part of the Soul Society, different parts of the world. It's like, how is this connected? I was just curious as all.
It's because it's called Burn the Witch, and like when you look at it, it spells bleach. When they do the little thing for it.
I mean, I get that, but like they fight dragons, not hollows.
I don't know
Well,
how.
it could be just because how far distance, you know. That's all I can think of.
Like different regions have different hollows or different demons to deal with, and
I guess.
like each one has their own afterlife to contend with.
Probably it might be the case.
Essentially.
No, this came out in at least the one shot I'm looking at came out in 2021.
The Hell one.
Yeah. It had Ichigo as an adult, and is it like they're doing like a captain's meeting or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that came out in 2021.
Yeah, that was the last one I saw. For it, not I guess not recent then, but that's the one I read recently, and that was the last extension of Bleach. It was like people were thinking like, is he going to continue it? Like, no one knows.
Yeah, no one knows. No one knows at all.
We should probably just go ahead and finish that up. To be fair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's about time. It's about that time. I think we can all agree it's about that time.
Agreed on that.
My
voice can only handle so much right now.
Your voice can only handle so much.
All right, currently yes.
No.
What about you? You know, what about
for me?
Yeah. Is there anything that you want to mention on the list?
Not even gonna mention Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Well, it's just saying that's gonna arrive this year, so it's like, hey, cool, nice.
Yeah, basically they really wanted to let everybody know. It's like, yeah, no, it's still coming out this year, or like we definitely fully intend for it to be coming out this year. And everybody's like, oh, well, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's like neat.
It is going. I mean, like they haven't said anything, and much like how Spider-Man was beforehand, it's like, is this even still coming out at this point anytime soon? And they're pretty much like, yes, it is. And I mean, like, granted, we're not in the same kind of situation as Spider-Man was. We're like, yeah, we're like 3 months out from this, 4 months out from this, and we haven't heard anything. And they're like, yeah, no, we should probably like say like something. This one is probably winter. I think this is just gonna be like probably late winter. They'll be like, hey, yo, it's good. It's time. It's time for it to come out. It's,
Yeah,
it's
we got you.
ready.
We got you.
That's what I'm expecting.
Uh, there's nothing really else that I can really see that I want to speak about, honestly.
Fair enough. I do want to mention that we recently discovered that Arcane Studios actually just wanted Microsoft to cancel Redfall. Development was going so poorly apparently that they was like, please just cancel the project. Please just cancel the project.
I'm wondering if this is gonna be comes down to it like what's a hearsay one like from the publisher. Microsoft was pushing for its release while developers are complaining like it's not going well at all because management's been poor or development process has been poor or the developers themselves are just not doing the job well at all because the game has came out to be extremely poor.
Yeah.
You know, if the people making the game says, "Hey, please just shut down the project," you should probably shut down the fucking project. Honestly.
It seems like that would be the move, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it could also be from the publisher side. Well, they had the job to do. They should have done their job in the first place.
Very true.
That is true. Yes.
All right. I believe that'll do it for this one then. Let me find something from Keep an Eye On. Ah, I know. We'll use this. It's perfect. So let me send you this. We got a nice artist. Get the
Got an
share.
artist.
Artist.
An
We always love our
artist.
drawings. You guys should go check that Twitter out.
Mm.
If I can find the general chat for our literal thing that we use all the time. Alright, hold up.
Where might it be?
I'm looking for it currently.
My God, you were supposed to be prepared. You are the man.
Was usually prepared for this, but for some reason it didn't pop up. And I'm like, I need you to get it together, Discord, because I only send things to like 3 different places.
It doesn't want to be a part.
It does not.
It does not know.
It should pop up in our general chat currently.
It's not popping up in general.
I said it should.
There it is.
See?
Oh, what's this?
Salvago.
Alright. I enjoy.
Yes. So, by all means, go check them out in the our description, things of that nature. But they got some sick looking art. A lot of triangle angular stuff.
Really
They got a nice one of Cammy right up front, and then another one of Link. So we know what they've been playing. Dude, the Cammy main clearly.
Oh, their Daft Punk one looks dope as fuck.
Yeah. Oh, it's a clean look. It's a clean look too. Definitely like the use of colors, and honestly, a lot of it has like this really nice luminescent feeling, especially with what he does with Luke and Link. That looks kind of sick.
Big fan of the gorillas, I see.
Yes, big fan of gorillas.
I
That Daft Punk one does look really good, though. You're not wrong.
I enjoy this picture where he has Chun-Li kicking, and I think it's Ken Masters kind of just blocking or parrying it very quickly.
Yeah, the parry.
Just how the angle's going. It actually looks pretty cool.
Oh, here's one of Dr. Faust.
They
That
also
Dr.
have
Faust
ones
looks
of
fun.
Giovanna. I love Giovanna. I'm looking for the one with the. Oh, that's a really sick angle
Good
on
lord,
this one with
right?
the answer.
Okay.
He has one of Dr. Faust I saw. It was really cool.
2B. Hold up, let me save that.
2B.
2B.
9S.
2B.
Oh, the Jacko one. This one's really nice with Jacko.
Soul Bad Guy.
Yeah. I'm looking for the. Oh, that's good. I like this Chun-Li one. This Chun-Li one's clean.
Oh, nice.
Okay, I finally found it. Yeah, the Ryu one. Bruh, what is he doing to Guile? And I'm mad.
Okay, the One Piece one is interesting because I've never seen triangle springs like that.
One Piece one.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. It's like this first person one with the.
Oh, I see.
Well, now I gotta look. Oh, wow. You know what? That's actually really cool. I like how this looks.
It's very
stylish.
What is it?
Oh, you got the Nico Robin too.
Very
Yeah.
rigid. I want to say. Of,
English.
Rigid triangular style. It's the idea. A lot of angles you mentioned, which is like, oh, hey, there's a JoJo one.
I see biking. Oh, I see the JoJo. Oh, this JoJo one's fire. I'm taking this one too. Credits everywhere to this one, or female.
Oh wow.
Dio is Dio.
But for sure, guys, go check them out. Last but not least, let us also say that we are going to be played out by another one from N Minor. So, without further ado, we are going to bring this episode to a close. As always, we appreciate you guys, and what you can do is hit us up on our Twitter or paperplayaction@gmail.com. That's paperplayaction@gmail.com and paper_action on Twitter. You can go there and give us a nice little shout out, say what's up to us, ask us questions, as you always know you can. The other thing is always spread the show, spread the love, tell people about us, let them know, because that is how we get around. On top of that, if you ever felt like just donating to the show, you can hit us up on our Patreon or our Koji. That is in our Twitter description, and yeah, you can just go to that, or hit us up on Cash App as well if you just felt like donating in our way. Remember, 20% of all proceeds go to a charity of our choosing. I have to choose the one for June actually because it's the first one in June, so that'll be
Save the children
on Twitter. Maybe. We might be saving children this time. I would assume that we usually try to save children.
If anything else, save me, because I would love to get through first 6 now.
You are not a charity.
No.
I can be a charity case.
Last time I checked, you are not a charity.
No.
If not me, at least help get Leon a license.
I don't think getting him paid to get a license gets him a license.
No, that's not how that functions.
And also, again, last time I checked, Leon is not a charity.
No.
But more though than anything, we love you guys, and once again, we appreciate you all. So without further ado, actually, before we close the show, what are we calling this one?
What are we calling this one?
Yeah,
I have no clue.
I'm not a charity.
No voice.
No voice.
No voice.
I got no voice. Just that's my association with it.
F your movie
No.
theater babies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that will work. That will work.
All right, there you go. F your movie theater babies is it?
Okay.
All right, we're out.
All right. Have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.
We never old ever.